Hey everybody, Chris here. We have buy signals flashing for Dogecoin and other altcoins. Is this a time to start buying? We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my videos come out as well as when I do live streams. And yes, there is the Iran conflict still going on, but the markets haven't really had the big dump that many would assume would happen when there is a war starting. Because investors, at this point, the prices are already down. And we do see signals that we have a relief rally coming. And will that be sustained? Or is the war going to drag on to a point where we start seeing negative pressure on the markets again? So let's get into it. Let me show you the charts in the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here looking at the Dogecoin chart here on a Wednesday morning at 9.2 cents. We did have this big run up here overnight up to about 9.35 and pulling back a little right before the stock market in New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ start trading on Wednesday morning. Bitcoin is over 71,000. It came almost up to 72. It actually just blasted right through this 2.5% run of this yellow box that I've been tracking Bitcoin on. Dogecoin, not even back to its yellow box yet. It's still up here. So Bitcoin has been outperforming Doge while this war has been going on, which is kind of interesting. We were always wondering if the Bitcoin was going to be a sort of a digital gold and we would see sort of a flight to safety, at least within the crypto world, to Bitcoin. And we did see some of that overnight. But we're having a little pullback at the moment. ETH is still over $2,000, and we may pull back and retest it again. We'll look at some other alts in just a minute. Right now, we start with our good friend Tom Lee. Remember when he said Bitcoin was going to hit $180,000 by January 31st? Well, what happened to that? And why is he still buying ETH and not at the bottom? Now, none of this is financial advice, of course, but I'm looking at the charts and I'm looking at also the history of trading. And we always see the summers of those post-bull run years as being the time when you accumulate, not in early March. Now, again, none of this financial advice. Many believe you should just dollar cost average. You just keep buying, and in the long run, you will do fine. I'm more of an investor looking for the best buying opportunities. I'm following my 2022, 2023 pattern here in 2026 and into 2027. But that's me, and that's what I'm doing. But be careful with all of these crazy predictions, particularly by one Mr. Tom Lee, who is way, way down. Now it's not his own personal money. It's his business that's accumulating all this ETH, and he's way down. Along with Michael Saylor and Strategy B, they are still billions of dollars in the red on all of the Bitcoin they've been buying for the last 5 or 6 years. So timing is everything when it comes to this. Timing is everything. But we are seeing right now the month of March is actually in the green for Bitcoin. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red months in a row. And speculation about what happens in March and whether that turns around. We will see. In 2020, there was a red February followed by a red March. Same with 2014, a red February followed by a red March. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the same thing that's going to happen. History doesn't always repeat, but it does rhyme, and we look at those just as a point of reference. So yes, a breakout from a descending trend line for Bitcoin. Awesome. Is this a full relief rally yet? Not really. We'd have to see Bitcoin up to like $80,000, I think, to be a true relief rally before pulling back again. Right now, we're just seeing this sort of up and down action like every 4 to 8 hours or so as all the new leverage traders just continue to get wiped out both on the short side and the long side, which I talk more about during my live streams. Make sure you're subscribed and you got your notifications on. Join in on the lives where we get into more detail on all this, and I, of course, answer all your questions. So subscribe, please, and join the lives. Interesting right now, the U.S.-Iran war started the morning of the 28th of February, and Bitcoin has outperformed gold over these 4 days, and it's, well, it's a short time frame. It's just a short time frame, and I'll leave it at that. And of course, that was the overnight run up of Bitcoin that did surpass the gold price. I think this will level out, and we'll see gold outperforming Bitcoin in a longer time period. But right now, Bitcoin, digital gold, well, we'll be watching this because this is an interesting metric. We do have the futures, stock futures right now were red last night, but now have moved up to the green. So we're going to have a green day in the stock market while this war is going on. Stocks, many are saying, are overvalued. Certainly the war company stocks are the ones that are doing the best. And if you need to buy something now's a good time to buy those stocks for a short-term profit. We'll see how long that goes on. But if the war goes on like 4 weeks or more, that will tire out as well. And we'll see whether there are bigger pullbacks here. But gold is in the green as well. And we'll see how that, how this relationship between Bitcoin and gold goes forward. Historically, the ultimate Bitcoin buy signal is below the weekly EMA 200 with daily RSI less than 30. And so right now we are right there. When Bitcoin, that was 68,000 right there was the buy signal for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin now over 70K again. So we'll be looking for further dips in Bitcoin. And are we even going to challenge the 60K support and drop into the 50s as this goes forward? We'll be watching that. Meanwhile, ETH has had some big up and down action. And of course, Mr. Tom Lee, he was buying way up here when we had $4,000 ETH. And so when ETH is at 2,000, yes, he's still buying for Bitmine. He's still buying, but he's way down on his overall average price of where ETH is now. Does this mean ETH is just going to bounce right back up? Not necessarily. Again, look at the timing of where we are. 2024, 2025. 2025 was very volatile. 2026, I think we're going to stay down here. I think we're going to stay down here in ETH, and we're not going to see this big bump up. It's just going to kind of grind around. There'll be some mini swings up and down. Again, leverage trading being liquidated by exchanges and market makers as we continue to follow along. And then we look at other alts like Aptos. And this was, this is one of those that you just got to be careful of. Many alts are near all-time lows. Aptos is one of those. And does that mean that you buy like all these other alts at these low prices? Are they ever even going to go up to these prices where they were in 2021, 2022, when there was money flushing the market because of all the stimmy checks? So retailers were buying all these alts thinking they would outperform Bitcoin. Many did. But look at the fall. Look at the fall from October all the way down. It's down to $1. And they're predicting it up to $12. Well, that 12x would be awesome, right? In return. But I don't know where the money's going to come for all these alts to recover like that. So we will continue to watch those. Meanwhile, Dogecoin, the monthly charts are printing a rare bullish reversal right now because we've been in this downtrend since the middle of February, when we did see sort of a mini relief rally, and then Dogecoin trading down, particularly since the Iran conflict started. But we're seeing little signs of life. We're seeing the stock RSI come back up, but again, it sort of oscillates up and down too. And again, this is on a 4-hour time frame. And then yesterday we looked at these other charts. This one, Trader Allen, and the Doji Star, and this could be a move that Dogecoin makes. But again, this is going to be into 2027. We'll see if the fall of 2026 starts to have a recovery, but I think we are going to be going sideways a bit over the summer. Again, this is just what I'm doing. And we looked at Javon Marks as well yesterday, and this chart up to 65 cents for a recovery. Again, zooming out, looking at the big picture in the 4-year cycles. That is what we could expect going forward. Again, none of this is financial advice, as we don't know exactly what the market's going to do, but But there are historical signals that do flash now and then. One of them is alt season. Now, alt season got totally overhyped here, and I'm going to zoom in on the sentiment chart of when you should buy and sell. Doesn't always work, like buying Dogecoin right here in July 2025 at 20 cents, because now we're much lower. But a lot of people were expecting October to be Uptober, right? In November to be Moonvember. And then, of course, that all got flushed out on October 10th. And we saw the price of Doge just start falling, along with the rest of the crypto market, of course. But if you followed the social sentiment, buy low, sell high, that's a good strategy. But do you sell everything? So there's all these continued flushes of Doge that you could sell. And this was my strategy here, was to do exactly this, to sell in slices. And then once all that tariff nonsense started, late January 2025, that's when I liquidated 85% of my positions, because I could see what was coming. Still was hoping, though, for that big, huge rush in October that never came due to the October 10th flash crash. So here we are now. Sentiment is low. I get it. Nobody's talking about alt season. Now back here in September 2024, that was before the U.S. presidential election with Trump, and it's particularly with Doge, with Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, and all that fun about that. So yeah, Doge went up 250%, right? Big run. Are we going to get that again? Right now, there's nothing really happening. We're watching X money and we're watching some other things kind of build up, but is now the time to be buying? This is the buy signal that sentiment is showing. But again, you can see here from July 2025, if you were buying Doge at 20 cents, well, if you sold when Doge went up to 32 cents, that would be a short flip there, but most were holding, and we're still holding all the way down. So that's what that looks like. We have our friend Jimmy here looking at the bigger picture of Doge. Again, Doge is getting closer to the 30 weekly RSI, as the RSI is continuing to fall for Doge. We're getting a little uptick here today, but again, on the big time frame, this is looking at the weekly chart. That's really not going to flash much at all. Will there be a bigger relief rally coming forward? Again, when we zoom out and we look at my weekly chart, I show you what I think is still going to happen is a relief rally up to, say, 12, 13 cents here. Will it be March or April? I think the war is going to kind of tamper that, and this could be a little bit longer. And then the summer, this is where I am looking at sub 8 cent Dogecoin, 7 and maybe down to 6.7 or so, which was my target at the bottom, looking at the fib retracements that we looked at last December of the bear market bottoms. So we'll continue to talk about those again during our live streams. Meanwhile, Trader Allen is still looking again at patterns, and looking at patterns of when the final breakdown happened in bear markets, and are we there yet, this bear market or not, before we see this turnaround and run up. That would be expected for Doge. It has done this before, and we are waiting to see that again. That's the potential that Dogecoin has. Again, no guarantees, not financial advice, but that's the potential that Dogecoin has, which is why I continue to support Doge even during the bear market, because that kind of run is always out there, and I will continue to accumulate more Doge. I never sold all of my Dogecoin. People just have that misunderstanding. Oh, Chris bought the top and sold everything at a loss. And that's completely opposite of what actually happened if you've been following along. Give the video a like. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this accumulation here. And is this a buy signal now that we've got on the Dogecoin chart? Is it time to buy the bottoms here? Or are we going to be a little more patient and wait and see what happens? And as always, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.